Ah, the friend zone. No guy ever wants to end up there, but every guy has been there with at least one girl at some point in his life. Heck, many men end up consistently falling into the friend zone with damn near every woman they meet and have absolutely no clue what they're doing wrong, and end up endlessly pissed off and frustrated at the opposite sex. The words every guy dreads hearing from a woman they're attracted to are, "You're a really sweet guy, but I think we should just be friends." I'd be willing to bet good money that if you're a guy listening to this, you've heard those fatal words at least a handful of times in your life from females you've been pursuing. And if you are a woman who's listening to this, I bet you can name more than a handful of guys you've said this to. You're not alone. In my younger, far more naive days, I myself used to get told these words quite a bit from girls. And needless to say, it caused me a lot of emotional heartache and frustration. The interesting thing is, ever since I switched to being direct with women, I've never ever ended up in the friend zone with any woman I've pursued. I either end up with the girl or I get rejected, but never anywhere in between in that middle ground known as the friend zone. So in this video, I want to discuss how the direct approach prevents you from ever being in the friend zone and how you can stop yourself entering this no man's land. The harsh truth about the friend zone. The harsh reality is that when a woman says she just wants to be friends, she doesn't actually want to be your friend. Not in the true sense of the word friend anyway. Nope. What she really means is that she is not romantically or sexually attracted to you, but she hasn't got the heart to tell you that. So in order to let you down gently, she uses the guise of wanting to be just friends so that she doesn't have to feel bad about rejecting you. The other key point about the friend zone is that you end up there due to your own actions and not because of anything women do. Yes, that's right. You are to blame if you end up friend zoned by women. Why guys end up friend zoned by women? Look, the truth is guys get friend zoned because they approach and interact with women in too much of a polite, pleasant, platonic manner. If you keep having friendly conversations with women without ever stating your romantic or sexual intentions and without any sexual element to the conversation, well, don't come crying to me when you keep ending up in the friend zone. Being indirect and beating around the bush with women is a fast track to the friend zone. That's another reason why PUA and seduction community theories don't work. They're too indirect and don't get women turned on sexually. How to avoid the friend zone. First thing you need to understand is that if you want women to view you in a romantic or sexual light, then you need to be able to get them turned on and revved up sexually when you talk to them. And polite, pleasant, indirect conversations are not going to achieve that. That is where the direct approach comes in. One of the absolute beauties of direct is that it immediately establishes a sexual element to the interaction. You immediately set the whole dynamic between you and the woman off as a sexual dynamic and not a platonic one. From now on, there are only two zones with women. When you start being direct with women, you will find the friend zone no longer exists for you. You will find there are only two possible zones you can ever end up in. One, the romantic or sexual zone. Two, the rejected zone. You see, when it really comes down to it, there are only two main types of women in society: those who are sexually attracted to you and those who are not. When you approach and interact with a woman, you want to establish whether she has any romantic or sexual interest in you or not. If she is attracted to you, you are in the romantic or sexual zone. If she is not attracted to you in that way, you are in the rejected zone. You want to find out as soon as possible which zone you are in so that you don't waste time or emotional energy pursuing a woman who isn't attracted to you. One of the other beauties of the direct approach is that you can quickly and easily figure out which of these two zones you're in, whereas with indirect approaches, it's very difficult to tell for sure. Friend zone is really a sort of middle ground where you are interacting with women who are not sexually attracted to you, but they haven't flat out told you they've rejected you. The woman has already rejected you in her own mind, but she just hasn't necessarily told you in so many words, mostly because she wants to keep you around for an ego boost or for flattering attention, etc. Conclusion. The only way to avoid the friend zone forever is to always be direct with women. All other types of approaches fall short because they leave the door wide open for you to fall straight into the friend zone. Ultimately, you can only end up in the friend zone if you allow yourself to end up there, but if you are direct, then you can put a stop to that for good.